Hello everyone, welcome to my lecture on the topic change in demand. We have learnt about demand concept in our earlier lecture session. That is, when price changes, demand changes, other things remaining constant. And what if the situation is other way? That is, price remaining constant and other factors will be varying or changing, which gives rise to change in the demand. So, in this session, we shall consider both the situations and learn about change in the demand when price is constant and other factors or determinants are varying, and when price is varying and other factors are kept constant. Two situations and two conditions. So the first one is change in the demand can be increase or decrease in the demand. This will be observed when price is constant and other determinants are varying. This is the condition. And change in the demand can be expansion and contraction in the demand. This will be when price will be varying and other determinants are kept constant. Right? Now, first case, we'll start with the first one, that is increase and decrease in the demand. The increase or decrease in the demand due to change in the factors other than price is called change in demand. So other than price can be income, taste and preferences, size of the population, or it can be prices of the related goods, etc. What are the determinants what we have studied in our earlier concepts. And change in demand leads to shift in the demand curve either to the right or to the left. Right? So increase in the demand. When the demand curve is shifting to either left or right, so there will be either an increase in the demand or it will be a decrease in the demand. So when it will be an increase in the demand is if the consumer are willing and able to buy more number of products at the same price, that is price remaining constant. The result will be an increase in the demand. The demand curve will shift to its right side. When this is the situation at the same price, when there is more number of quantity of goods and services consumed, that gives rise to a shift in the demand curve to the right. That is nothing but an increase in the demand curve. So this is the graphical representation which will help us to understand the concept better, in a better way. Now this price, let us denote it as P. Now this is Q1, this is Q2. Right? These are the notations. Now our condition is, when we are learning about increase in the demand, price will be constant, that is price will be 12 here, whatever the figure is here, there, I'm reading out the same numbers. So when the price is 12 of a particular product, the quantity consumed is 80 units of the product, that is we have denoted it as Q1. If P1 was the price, OQ1 is the quantity demanded. And still it is observed there is a change in the demand happening from Q1 to Q2. But price remaining constant, there is no significant change in the price, there is no change in the price at all. Still there is a change in the quantity demanded. So the new quantity will be from 0 to Q2, right? So earlier demand curve, when the demand is OQ1, this is the demand line for that, and when it is OQ2, it is the next demand giving rise to next demand line. So there is a subsequent shift in the demand curve to its right side, this is a clear indication that there is an increase in the demand even though there is no change in the price happening, right? Now coming to decrease in the demand. A decrease in the demand occurs when buyers are ready to buy less of a product at the same price. Again, there is no change in the price because of factors like fall in the income, rise in the price of the complementary goods, or change in the taste and preferences of the candidates, of the consumers, etc. Reduction in the size of the population, etc. So decrease in demand will shift the demand curve to its left side. So increase or decrease in the demand involves a shift in the demand curve. So this is the graph with which we can understand the decrease in the demand in a very easy way. So again here, these are by default notations for the graph. X-axis, Y-axis representing quantity demanded on the X-axis and price on the Y-axis. So here, this is a 60 is the price. Let us assume it is P1. So for when the price is P1, the quantity consumed is Q1 and the next quantity consumed is Q2, right? So there is no change in the price, but what there is a change here, there is a reduction in the income, change in the taste and preferences, the reduction in the size of the population, etc., etc., giving rise to reduction in the demand also. That leads to less consumption of goods and services by the customers. So here the demand line, this is the original demand line, that is D1. Now this is D2. New demand line is D2 and D2. Right? So it is observed that from the original demand, that is when P1 price was P1, the quantity was Q2, OQ2. Since there is a change in all these factors, it has been the reduction, there is a reduction in the consumption happening, giving rise to less quantity consumed, that is the new demand created is 0 to Q1, right? So this is how the increase and decrease in the demand curve will be analyzed. Now the next situation is extension and contraction, or expansion and contraction in the demand curve. Extension and contraction in the demand curve will be observed due to change in the price of the commodity. Now what is changing here? The price of the commodity will be changing and other factors will be kept constant. So extension is a downward movement along the demand curve. It is a downward movement along the demand curve, which indicates that a higher quantity is demanded for a given fall in the price of the goods. A contraction is an upward movement along the demand curve, which indicates that a lower quantity is demanded for a given increase in the price of the good. There is no shift in the demand curve as we have observed in the previous cases. There will not be any shift in the demand curve. So this is a graphical representation which helps us to understand the concept pertaining to extension and contraction of the demand. Now price will be a varying factor and other things remaining constant is the condition applicable here. So let us assume that is P1 is the first price, P2 is the next increased price, P3 is the reduced price. So these are the relevant demand or the quantity of the goods consumed when the prices are, respective prices are P1, P2 and P3. When the price is P1, the quantity demanded is OQ1, or here it is denoted as quantity demanded 1. When the price is increasing from P1 to P2, now there is a contraction in the demand happening here. So the new demand created will be is nothing but QD2. Similarly, when price is being lowered or reduced to P3, now there is a change in the demand curve, that is, there is an increase in the quantity consumed here. So it is moving from QD1 to QD3 when the prices are reduced from P1 to P3. So here, for a given changes in the prices, we are observing the changes happening in the demand curve. Now these are the points for the first point. This is for the first one, that is A point. Now this is B, this is C. So all the points of the demand are lying on the same demand curve. There is no shift in the demand curve either to the left or the right, but there is a movement along the same demand curve happening here. So when the point is moving downwards from left to right, it is an indication of extension in the demand. Due to increase in the demand, there is a sloping down of the demand from left to right. Right? So similarly, when there is a contraction in the demand or when there is a contraction in the demand, the movement of the demand point is happening upwards, like this situation. This is instance is considered as a contraction in the demand. Right? So the basic condition that is applicable for extension and contraction of the demand is price varying factor and other determinants are constant. Right? With this, I'll end up the session here. Thank you.